Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming with us Thursday, June 12th, the 2025 regular meeting agenda, East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. We will have the invocation led by School Board Member Cliff Lewis, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by School Board Member Mark Ballou. Please stand.
All heads bowed, please. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing us to see a day that was not promised. We pray, oh Heavenly Father, that the things that we do here today will bring glory to you, the parents, the students of East Baton Rouge Parish that we've agreed to serve to the best of our ability. We pray for the wisdom and the knowledge to lean not to our own understanding, but to trust you in all we do and all we say. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. What up, Emily?
Secretary, can I have a roll call, please?
District 4, President Stewart.
Present.
District 7, Vice President Gode.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Blue.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Lannis.
I'm District 2.
Obviously.
Here.
District Blue. District 2, Mr. Lannis. District 3, Ms. Powell Lewis. District 5, Mr. Lewis.
Present.
District 6, Mr. Russ.
Present.
District 8, Ms. Sule.
Present.
District 9, Mr. Martin. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving along to item B, meeting minutes. Approval of the school board minutes of the May 15th, 2025 regular board meeting, the May 19th, 2025 special board meeting, and the May 1st, 2025 committee of the whole meeting as published in the official journal. Do I have any public comments? Any board comments? Motion?
Move.
Motion by Mr. Lannis, second by Mr. Lewis. Madam Secretary.
Vote. The motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item C, information only. Number 1, the monthly financial report and the personnel changes. I'm sorry, we have a comment. Coach Lewis.
That was from the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment. I just want to thank our finance staff and Ms. Lopez and others who helped her. The financial deck that we get now with the pie charts and everything else is very informative and very easy to read. So I just wanted to tell you thank you for the work that went into that. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you. So moving along, item D, receive as information. Number 1, update from the superintendent.
Madam President, Vice President, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, here and at home, thank you for being here with us this evening. This is our last meeting of the 24-25 school year. It has been a tremendous ride, very interesting at times, but tremendous nonetheless. This is my 11th day of service as superintendent and the 45th day of our realignment plan implementation. As part of our February progress report to the community, we issued a challenge to our district and the community, Dare to Be Great. We achieve greatness by adhering to our strategic plan and our realignment guiding principles. Each of those strategic actions in tonight's update does that by addressing the core areas in our plan. Student achievement. Summer programming is being held throughout the district to provide remediation, summer retest opportunities for required state assessments, on grade level support, and enrichment opportunities. Students who have yet to meet the required standards on statewide assessment will have retest opportunities during the final week of the month. Parents, please check out our district website or contact your child's school for more information to find a specific program that meets your child's individual needs. I'd like to say a huge congratulations to my road dog, Kyle Fontenette, principal at Mayfair, that's an inside joke, at Mayfair Lab School, for being named a finalist for Principal of the Year. We are so proud of him. Wish him luck in the statewide competition and look for many great things to continue. Kyle is going to do a presentation tonight on Mayfair Lab, so we'll hear from him shortly. Hold your horses, Kyle. I'm not finished with my report. Operational excellence, realignment implementation work continues. There is a webpage dedicated to our alignment efforts, and I invite our community to view the plan details on our website. We will continue to post regular updates and add additional information, and to monitor our progress and to review the entire plan. Please visit ebrschools.org/realignment. Tonight, we will spotlight our district dashboard, where we will continue to post and communicate our progress as we work towards the first day of school. And then our employee development, the school and district leads are participating in a variety of professional learning experience this month. School principals are attending the Data Instruction 2-day learning series to review data protocols, student goal setting, and best practices in context of new and changing accountability formulas. We had a number of our employees attend the Teacher Leaders Summit in New Orleans this week. We learned a lot, saw a lot, and was able to connect with many of the leaders at the State Department of Education to learn. And we're excited about our opportunity to continue to provide support. Now, our word for 25-26 school year is going to be support. The success is in the support, and we have to think about how do we, Board Member Lanus, provide support. All right, support is an action word. We cannot just tell people what to do. We have to show them how to do this work, and we have to be in our schools to do it and help our school leaders, our teachers, and more importantly, our students. School and district leaders across the system will attend next week the annual SLI, School Leader Institute, being held next week at Woodlawn High School. Our partners, the NIET, are supporting us with content and learning at this event, and our schools that are going to be TAP schools are going to participate in their first 3 days of professional development around the TAP model. Additional summer professional learning opportunities continue across the district. The academics team has a full calendar transitioning us into the next school year. What I do want to say, if you are a teacher, a paraprofessional, a support staff worker, wherever you are, whatever department you work in, and you are seeking additional professional development opportunities, please reach out to your immediate supervisor so that we can provide those professional development opportunities for you. Things are changing in terms of the state's evaluation tool. I learned that the Teacher Leaders Summit, the way we are asking employees to provide professional growth plans is going to look a lot different. And so we have to make sure we are helping our employees grow as best we can. At this time, we're going to hear from Kyle Fontenette of Mayfair Laboratory School to tell us a little bit about the National Blue Ribbon School. Let's give Mr. Fontenette a round of applause.
Thanks for the introduction. That's the best way to do it. How y'all doing today, high school board? I'm Kyle Fontenette. I have the privilege of being the principal at the Mayfair Laboratory School, the National Blue Ribbon School. I have my presentation. The first thing you actually look on our presentation, it says Recipe for Success. When Ms. Edwards called me earlier last few weeks to ask me to do the presentation, I was like, well, Ms. go over our Recipe for Success. That's actually our next year's school theme. For the 25-26 school year is Mayfair Lab Recipe for Success. Every year we have a school theme. Last year it was Nowhere Better Than Here. Before that it was 10 Years of Excellence. Before that it was Reach for the Stars. And we actually use our school theme throughout the year. For instance, we're thinking about different cooking field trips our kids can take and incorporate it into science. Also, it goes with our summer reading, or we have a big read every summer, and all of our summer reading books actually revolve around some kind of cooking, some kind of aspect of that. So let's go over Mayfair's recipe for success. First thing, we're at 514 kids as of yesterday. We're K-8. We are a specialized program. We are an academic magnet that focuses on environmental studies. Each grade level has a different environmental studies project that they focus on, and those are constantly changing, constantly getting, adding new stuff, taking stuff away. It's never when you're doing outside activities with kids, it's always changing, trying to, tinker with stuff to make it better and better. Our subgroup percentages were 24% economically disadvantaged, 25% African American, and 7% ESS. And so there's a few pictures of our kids throughout the year. There we go. All right. I'm a big data guy, so let's go over that. Right now, we are currently at 118.2 SPS, which puts us second in the state for any K-8, or any school that's on the K-8 SPS model. And it's a big thing. The reason we're there is because our teachers are the best. Mr. Cole was telling everybody that yes, I'm a finalist for Principal of the Year, but that is not an individual award. It is a team award. It's really easy to look great when you have the best teachers, and the teachers at Mayfair Lab go above and beyond for all of our kids, and because of that, our progress rating is 119.5. So yes, we get kids of all levels and we grow them. For instance, last year, one of the big things is that by the time every kid left our 8th grade math program, 100% of them were at Mastery and above. And a few years ago, I'll show you the growth over the years. I know the big thing right now is looking at the subgroup data. This is the percentile ranks of how of our kids in our subgroups percentile rank across the state of Louisiana. African American, they're in the 99th percentile for all across the state of Louisiana. Hispanic, 98%, white, 98%, Asian, 93%, economically disadvantaged, 99%, and students with disabilities, 99%. So we look at all, everybody's like, oh, you have a high-performing school, you don't have to look at everything like that. No, you still do. There's still kids in there that need growth, and we make sure that we provide those interventions, provide those support like you were talking about and a few minutes ago. So we make sure to do that, and it's showing in our subgroup data and our rank throughout the state. This was last year's DIBELS data, and as you can see, over the course of the year, we increased our well belows to only 2%, started at 7%, and we increased our aboves from 41 to 57. So there's always room for growth, and the teachers at Mayfair are never satisfied until every kid is above benchmark. When I say that they go above and beyond. They were there today, a few of them actually getting ready for our intervention summer camps that are starting on Monday. They never stop. They are the hardest working group of educators that I know, and we are there because of them. They are just, I can't praise them enough for how hard they work. This is our LEAP mastery growth throughout the years. So as we all know, 2021 is the best year for all educators, the year when the kids were in person, hybrid. If they wanted to be virtual that day, they were virtual that day, they were in person that day. So that's where we started off. That was actually my first full year at Mayfair, and that was our mastery and above ranks. And then over the course of the last 4 years, we've grown so much. Right now we're at 92% mastery and above in ELA, 94% in math, and 80% in science. Unfortunately, studies will find that out in about a month, how we did with that. That's always scary the first time you ever get some data for a new test. And so, everybody's like, oh, it's a high-performing school. It's just like Nick Saban always says, you can never ever just be satisfied with just being great. You got to keep on fighting and keep on pushing. And as you can see, the teachers never stop, and they are not satisfied until every kid's mastering above. I know everyone's like, oh, 92, 94, they are competing with each other. Like if they're at 93 and someone else is 95, they are not happy because they want to be at 98. And so that's why we're at where they work so hard. And some of the key components to our school, the main thing is the foundational skills that we all know kids have to have, and that's K-3 classrooms. When Mr. Cole was doing the realignment schools and he's starting to implement the dual teacher model in those K-2 sites, I'm going to go and tell y'all, spoiler alert, it's going to work. Having all those extra small groups, it works wonders. If you, I invite all of y'all to come to Mayfair whenever y'all want to stop on by and just walk some classrooms. You'll see 5 kids over here, 6 kids over here, 8 kids over here in those young classrooms because the teachers are always doing small groups. and it works. They're providing the interventions, but they're also providing the acceleration for the kids that need the acceleration as well. You got to think about all the kids. And so the bedrock for our school is that dual teacher model with the lead and associate teachers. It provides extensive interventions. We also have our environmental study, which is our EcoSTEM. Every grade has a different EcoSTEM project that they do. Kindergarten has their butterfly garden. That's also a big living playground that they play in the mud. They're always messy, but that's the parents' job to wash their clothes, not mine. And so it gets bad sometimes. And in the urban sustainability picture you're seeing, that's actually our middle school garden. And we are a K-8, and one of the things we really try to do, we call it sprout to blossom. We get them when they're a sprout, we try to blossom by the end of 8th grade, and we try to make the connections between the upper middle school grades and the kindergarten grades. That's one of our 7th graders in beta reading to a kindergarten kid, and at the end of the year, they actually give them a book that they read to them over the course of the year. And that's why they're our beta club. And the last, this is actually a video. I know that you always see pictures of the things. We actually have a video that we had from a little earlier in the year. I think it really encapsulates all the great things that happen at Mayfair, how big of a community we are. So this is the last little part. Here we go. Good pop. Here we go. Let's see if I'm. Did it load? Oh. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fondon. Don't go anywhere. We may have some questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Sule?
Thank you, Mr. Fontenot.
Thanks, Ms. Sula.
I've had the privilege of visiting Mayfair quite a bit this year, and one of the things I have really enjoyed when on campus is and Mr. Fontenot, you talked about it, how y'all focus on each individual child. No child is left out of what is happening, and making sure that if a child is struggling, you provide whatever resources are needed so that the child can have what they need. And so thank you. Thank you for doing that, because I know that Mayfair is a school that is a blue ribbon and a strong school, but you make sure that every kid that walks through your door gets what they need, and I appreciate that.
I will say, I think a lot of y'all have seen the show Cheers when y'all were in it. Like, it's a place where everybody knows everybody's name.
Yeah.
Mayfair is a true sense of community. It's like that. When you walk on campus, everybody knows everybody. A lot of these kids have been together for 9 years. When we did our 8th grade recognition ceremony, we had 16 kids that their kindergarten teachers came and gave them their Mayfair, I can't think of the word right now, we'll say award, where they started as kindergartners, and they actually had their kindergarten teacher give it to them, and of course kindergarten teachers were crying like crazy to see how big they'd gotten in the last 9 years. So it is a true sense of community where we try, we do everything we can for every kid, and everybody's there, everybody's rowing in the right direction, which is nice. Everybody's there to help the kids. So it really is a special place.
Anybody?
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
We need to see if we can find a way to take your creativity and
I hear you.
we need to find a way to take your enthusiasm and the things that you do and see if we can bottle it, can it, put it in a box, do something, and drop it off at all the other schools.
Well, it's exhausting some days, but it's a lot of fun. It also helps too when every morning, a lot of times when sometimes kids are like, oh, I don't want to go to school today. It's also nice when you see every morning those K1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 kids, and even the middle school kids on a lot of days, they don't let you know it all the time, but here and there they do. They're just excited to be at school. It's contagious. They're having fun at school, the teachers are having fun, so it's hard not to have fun and want to get involved. So it really is I say it's a special place.
One of the parents at one of the community meetings made the comment about the buildings should be a place where our kids can go recognize their dreams, their hopes, and I forget the last, it's a quote. Mayfair looks like that kind of place.
It's a special place, and hopefully I know we're on this tax plan to get a new building to have another special place really soon. I can't wait for that.
Over my pay grade.
Yeah, I saw it on the plan, but it really is, and we try to make it interactive. It's an old building, but a few years ago for 10 Years of Excellence, we actually had the muralists come out and paint 10 Years on the wall, and at our end of the year fair, we let the kids splatter paint the outside wall. And it's still a thing that they kind of remember. We have a butterfly tunnel. We have a different spot where the art teacher had the kids come over the summer, actually painted a mural on the wall that one of the kids actually put into an art show for the district. And so we try to make it a fun place where we get every kid involved in some kind of way. I know some of the video we have, the Girl Scouts, every grade level has the Girl Scout and Cub Scout troops, and the parents come in on one parent, for kindergarten, they picked Fridays. I'm like, there's some brave parents on Fridays afternoons to come in and have a Cub Scout meeting, but they're there and they're doing it, and we try to get all the kids involved. So it really is a community environment, which is nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russ.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fontenot, for your service to the children and families of our community. I wanted to recognize the great growth that you've had in the past 5 years with your students. It's not a hard thing for our kids to recover from all the effects of COVID and learning loss. So that shows a lot of commitment. I wanted to ask specifically, Mayfair being a K through 8, we talk a lot about grade configurations and the best way to serve kids in the middle school age range and grade range. I guess, what is your opinion on the success or the challenges with serving kids of that age with elementary age kids?
That's a tough one because there's pros and cons to it. As you know, I say like too much. I was at McKinley Middle before I went to Mayfair. I was the assistant principal at McKinley Middle for 2.5 years. And what they can offer in a big middle school when it comes just to elective-wise, it does help ensure all kids are engaged in some kind of class that they really enjoy. So not every kid's going to enjoy English class. I was that kid. I was still not the best writer. But by having a bigger middle school, you have tons more electives where they can find their niche. They can find that class that really that's their carrot to get them to school. And at Mayfair, thankfully, we figured out a way to be as creative as possible with our electives, because we can't offer as many as the Sherwoods, the McKinleys, the Westdales, because they have such a bigger. But also, too, we're also having that K-8 model does build a big community feel where there are so many kids. We have, I think of an 8th grader this year, he had a kindergarten little sister, and of course the first day she rode the bus, she was so scared, but he's like, I'm gonna go walk to kindergarten, pick my little sister up and take her to the bus, and he did it for the first 2 weeks of school until she said, hey, leave me alone. But like, it's, there's pros and cons to it. And so I love the community feel of Mayfair, and we've been able to get creative as we can to offer as much way, get the kids in the middle school really interested in certain elective classes. That really is a big thing that kids look forward to. I mean, our robotics class and our digital storytelling class, the kids, the 8th graders, that's like their favorite part. They help create the yearbook, and they love it. Like that is their thing when they're in that class. And so the bigger middle schools can offer more of that, which is awesome. And so, but we have to get creative. So there's pros and cons to the different models.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. Any other board members have any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Fontaine. I just want the board to know, as we were going through the realignment process, Mr. Fontaine and I had some very deep conversations. So our teachers at our foundational learning centers are going to visit with his teachers at Mayfair and spend some time learning about the best way to do the dual teaching model. I think it's really important for us to provide that level of support, first establish the expectation in terms of what we expect to see in those classrooms, but it's really important for them to see it themselves in action. So looking forward to the opportunity, looking forward to learning from your team, and thank you for offering that for the service of all students.
All right, thank you all so much. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next month when you win Principal of the Year. Maybe Mr. Godey will buy a table, and we all can come down together, Now I would like to have a presentation on our realignment dashboard very briefly, which is going to be led by Mr. Gilbert, Ms. Whitley, Ms. Okonski, and Ms. Jones. They know my famous 2 words. We want to be informative, but be brief.
Good afternoon. My name is Pamela Whitley. Glad to be here with you once again. And as you know, we have been working very hard since you approved the realignment plan. So it's all about implementation now. We have a dashboard that we've created that is public facing to provide visibility into all of the elements that go into the changes that we propose. So in some of our early discussions, we talked about the importance of change management. What I will say about the building of the dashboard, it allowed us to take organizational excellence and look at it in an integrated way. So we started by having each department just provide a checklist of everything they had to do to get to what we call the first day experience. And then we started talking about those things as one program. So if you look at the elements of program management, you build a plan, then you identify the individual tasks within that plan, you assign responsibility, and then you begin to implement and track progress. And the dashboard is our visible way of showing where we are towards implementing the plan. So we do have that for everybody to see. I think Amy's going to pull that up.
Good evening. So on our website, this is our homepage, and you can see at the bottom there's a pop-up that comes up for our school realignment information. It entails the plan that we've had up there for many months now, and then the track our progress, which is our dashboard. And then right below that, you can click to see how to use the dashboard. And so if we were to click on that bottom button, and I'm going to move forward, this is what comes up. And this is simply a legend or a key that explains to everyone what the dashboard entails, how you click on things, what does it mean, which item means which, and that will live there in the bottom if you want to refer back to it. But it is a very intuitive tool, so we'll go to the dashboard itself now, and you can see that our priority action items on the right, you can click on each one and it will focus on just the medium priorities, the high priorities, and the low priorities. And what we meant by those priorities is a high priority is necessary for the first day of school. It has to be done. The medium priorities also need to be done, but they're not mission critical for the first day of school, but we're still focusing on them all the time. And then the low priorities, we may not have every book on the shelf in the library. It's not for first day implementation, but it is a priority. It's just not up there with the first day experience. You can also click on the wheel where you can filter for items that are complete or on time. And you can also filter by many ways. You can filter by the school that you want to see. You can go pick that school and click only. You'll see only those action items. If you want to see the schools just in your district, you can select each of those and it will show you those schools in whichever way you can pull them up. And so from there, it tracks our progress, keeping us accountable at every department level.
Those of you who know me know that I like the story that data tells along with the data. And so I'm going to briefly tell you just a quick pieces about this story and how it came to be. You guys voted on this plan April 28th. Back on the 23rd or the 24th, about 20 or 30 of us convened in this room. And we started talking about what happens first, what happens next after this board vote. Everyone was given homework. The very next day on that Friday was spring break week. We were working on spring break week that Friday. We came in with various department checklists. Everyone turned in their checklists to us. Some people had been through this before on a smaller scale. Some folks, it was their first time doing work like this. Miss Pam, Miss Amy, and I sat at a big table with everybody's checklist. And we had to decide what made it to this dashboard. At first we said, oh, we're going to do high level. But then we looked at it and said, no, if you just do the high level, you need that mid-level work to execute. It's the attention to detail that's important to get to our end game. So we started synthesizing. We started highlighting. What we saw was, wait a minute, that department has this department has this. Let's bring them together. Let's connect the work together. And let's let everybody tell their story together. So everyone turned in their checklists. They were synthesized. Those are the items that you see on this dashboard. We have 2 regular meetings each week that I think Mr. Gilbert will speak more about in a minute. But every Thursday, every owner who submitted a checklist is in a room. And we filter this dashboard, we color code it, we go by school, we track our progress to see where we are. On Mondays, in between the Thursday meetings, the core group comes in of department leads, chiefs, division leads, and we troubleshoot. This is what we heard on Thursday. If we don't address this before next Thursday, we're not going to make any progress. And so that's how we're monitoring the dashboard. And if I would be remiss at this point if I didn't thank the smart people in this organization who made that happen. Ms. Jones and I get to be the face of this, but we have talented individuals on our teams. This dashboard was created in-house. Is being updated in-house, and it's being tracked in-house. So to those guys out and ladies out there who have worked so hard on this, we appreciate them.
I'm going to dug down just a little bit. So I want to talk about the approach with our meeting cadence. So the group is taking what we call the TLA approach, just to talk, listen, and act. So on Mondays when we go in, we're making sure that we're working in a collaborative effort in order for us to be able to break down the silos, having the right people in the right seat on the buses in order to be able to impact change. Mondays we have a district level overview of what we're doing, of again what the issues are, what's the actions in executing. And then on Thursdays, we're able to have that meeting with our principals and our department heads to say, okay, let's get down into the nitty-gritty. Again, what are the issues? What do we need help? What do we need to have the stack hands approach in order to be able to exact change? And that's where we'll continue to drive that piece.
Okay, I think I get to bat last to take any questions. So hopefully this provides a sense of warmth that we are focused on implementation. It's good to have a plan, then you have to make sure you execute and implement the plan. So if you have any questions, I'm here to address them.
Ms. Lewis, Paul Lewis.
Thank you. I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for transparency. Transparency, transparency, transparency. This particular board, this sitting board here has asked for that on many occasions, and we are so excited that we are headed in this direction and that we have this available not only for us to see, but for the public to see, those who pay their tax dollars. And so I'm appreciative of the clarity and the ease of being able to use the dashboard. So thank you. Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paul Lewis. Mr. Russ?
Thank you. I'm very pleased and impressed to see the systemization of this process. There's a lot of moving parts that have to happen for school to start in August, and so it just shows a deep understanding of what the work is. So I appreciate this. I'll ask a question because I know this has come up along this process, and this may be a little bit outside of what we're talking about today, but I wanted to ask how we're doing with staff that was impacted at facilities that are closing or have been moved, and I guess that might be a question for the superintendent. Thank you.
So we have 0 vacancies at Glen Oaks Park Elementary School. We've been fully vacant there. We have 3 vacancies at Glen Oaks High School. We have, because we combined Capital Middle and Capital High, we have 18 vacancies there. At Melrose, we have 26 vacancies because we're doing a completely different model where it's going to be the K-2 model. And then at Marydale, we have 16 vacancies for the same exact reason. So we're still working with our staff to ensure that we're deploying those folks who have been impacted by the realignment to place them in the appropriate schools. One of the things that we're hearing from a lot of our K-3 teachers, K-3 principals, as if there are teachers we can deploy to their schools for the dual teacher model, please do so. So everyone is seeking, not everyone, but a lot of school leaders are seeking to have that model in their schools so we can start talking about how do we provide those foundational skills. So to answer your direct question, 77% of those schools are staffed currently, and we're still working with our HR department to ensure that they're 100% staffed by the first day of school. Some of them, we gave them the option to follow the kids. Some of them wanted an option to go to a different location. And some of them, we've had a series of job fairs, and they visited with those job fairs and have been placed at other schools where there were vacancies. So currently, we're 77% staffed at those schools.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. Mr. Gode?
Yes, thank you, and thank you, Ms. Williams. You know, I have a background in project management and doing all this sort of stuff, and I'm very impressed with the organization that this has come. And I hope that we as an organization can absorb the guidance that you've given them so that we use this type of approach across the board as we're going out to do big things. Because that's what I've seen so often as a member of the board. We have great ideas, we want to do great things, and then the implementation fails on the action items of getting things done, particularly across districts. And so I applaud you in that. I applaud your whole team. I applaud all of the people who are working with you. And I just want this to be a learning experience for us as a school system, in that this is how you really do it and make good progress. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments.
Thank you, Mr. Gode.
I want to thank the team, Pam, Casey, Andrea, and Amy, for working extremely hard to ensure that we move this process along. And also, board members, I invite you to participate or listen to any of those meetings. We meet on Mondays for the initial alignment meeting, and then on Thursdays, all of the departments meet. Very interesting conversations take place, all in an effort to make sure we're ready for that first day experience. So I want to thank all of you for leading us through the work. We sincerely appreciate you. And with that, that concludes my report. I do want to recognize one of our new employees, Mr. Jonathan Scheck-Snyder. Am I saying that correctly, sir? Who's our Director of Facilities working with Mr. Gibbs. Stand up so that people can see you, Mr. Scheck-Snyder. And so let's give him a round of applause. Looking forward to you. Looking forward. He's a great guy. Looking forward to the outstanding work we know you're going to do in helping us facilitate the process. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent Cole, and thank all of the staff and Ms. Whitley and the team, Mr. Gilbert. Moving along to item E, reports from board appointees to committees and agencies. Do we have any board members that would like to report? I see Ms. Paul Lewis.
Thank you. Good evening or good afternoon once again to everyone. I will say I was super excited. Today was my first time getting a chance to participate in the East Baton Rouge Parish Schools Foundation Board meeting. And so I am serving this year as our board liaison on that particular foundation board. And we had the opportunity to meet at Scotlandville High School. The hope that Ms. Lightfoot and the rest of the board members mentioned was that they hope to rotate to different schools within the district. And she actually put that call out to the foundation board members. And I want to extend it to our board members as well, that if you would like the foundation board to meet at one of your schools in your district, to let Ms. Lightfoot know, and some of our future meetings can be scheduled at those particular schools. We are in the process for the foundation board of seeking additional board members, and so I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you all. Our major component of today's meeting was about our calendar of meetings for the upcoming year. We talked about the fact that there would be an extended retreat in August, and also we talked about this advertisement that some of us, especially my colleagues, we've received in our email about the Superintendent Society. And so the Superintendent Society is to recruit sponsorship for annual gifts and sponsors to contribute to the Superintendent Society with a threshold gift of $1,000 or more. And this is to, number one, bring in the community and let the community know what we're in need of. A lot of times we know that our annual budget covers the operational costs and the different things of the district, but we know that we also like to provide different opportunities for our teachers, for our students as well. And so being able to support the extracurricular activities and events and incentives of the district, this is what the Superintendent's Society is for. Am I correct, Superintendent Cole?
Correct.
Okay. So with that in mind, I wanted to put that call out to everyone as well. You can find that information on the necessary websites. Also, I just wanted to say kudos to Ms. Lightfoot as well. She shared that we have recently received some very large grants from partners such as ExxonMobil in the area of STEM, and so I'm sure you will hear more about that. And then lastly, I just want to share as well, there have been many questions I know I've heard in my community, and I'm sure many of you have heard in yours as well, about wanting to know what is it that teachers need? What is it that our principals may need in the classrooms? And so I am excited to share that the EBR Foundation has actually put together a form that is on the website as well that allows teachers and principals and other school staff to be able to fill out this form and tell what they need. You know, if they need extra reading materials or if they need extra resources, you all, I'm going to say paint for, you know, maybe Mayfair Lab, you know, for some of those extra programs and extracurricular activities. So that is now available online as well. So I just wanted to share, it was very informative, very insightful, and I look forward to everything else that will take place within the upcoming year in school year.
Thank you, Ms. Paul Lewis. And I'm glad to hear that because that was something that originally I had spoken with Ms. Lightfoot about, I guess a request form or some type of request from the foundation for the district for those funds, a method or something. So that's good to know. Thank you so
Yes,
kindly.
ma'am, they can find it online.
Okay, Mr. Lewis?
I'll be brief. Everybody knows about VIPS and the outstanding job that they do. Some of the VIPS programs, everybody reads. Be a reading friend to a student who has been identified as reading below their grade level. These students often lack access to books at home, may not get homework help or one-on-one story time at home, and often need a constant adult in their lives. Bottom line, they're looking for people who can commit 30 minutes a week for the duration of the school year to be a friend, reading friend. If you can't commit to meeting with a student weekly, you can pair up with a friend and the two of you all can alternate reading with a student. This program is offered in 35 different schools. Student availability depends on times provided by his or her teacher, but are typically during the school day between 8:30 and 2:30. And I think Miss Shoshone Stewart is a walking testimony. We talk about literacy all the time up here. And I think Mr. Gode was just talking about, we have all these great, grand ideas about how we're going to do things. Well, here's an opportunity for us and everybody out there in TV land that's watching to get involved. To get involved, and fighting literacy is just not something just not a battle that has to be fought in a classroom. This year at a VIPS meeting, I met a lady who taught a young man how to read when he was in elementary school or middle school. He brought his kids to her this year so she could teach his kids how to read. The great thing about being an educator or a teacher, you never know where your influence will stop. So, if you want to get involved, put your money where your mouth, or put your boots on the ground, volunteer to be a reading friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Any other report? Mr. Russ?
Thank you. I will also be brief. As the school board is appointed to the BREC Commission, I'll update the board on a couple things. At our, this is June. At one of our May meetings, we selected a new interim superintendent, Ms. Janet Simmons, that will serve for at least a 6-month period as the superintendent of BREC. Really excited to have her. She's had some experience working with BREC and so was uniquely positioned to help us. As well, at our last meeting earlier this week, the BREC Foundation rescinded their termination of their agreement with BREC, so they are expecting to continue to work with BREC. If people aren't aware that they had decided in January not to work with BREC as its foundation anymore, but they have decided to do otherwise. So we're excited about that and hoping to work with the BREC Foundation, Friends of the Zoo, to help them develop how they can support BREC in a better way. And then last, if the board's not aware, there's a couple bills going through the legislature. At least one of these will probably be signed into law by the governor that will change the makeup of the BREC Commission. As I understand it, and I'm still looking for clarification, that could be as soon as a couple months from now or at the latest in January. So the board would lose their seat on the BREC Commission. So I'll continue to serve until they tell me I need to go. If anybody wants to talk about any BREC business, I'm here. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. Anybody, is that it? All right, moving along. Thank all our board members for those reports. Item F, unfinished business. Number 1, 2025-2026 proposed budgets, consideration of the request for the approval of the proposed 2025-2026 general fund and special revenue budgets, the budget resolution, and the 2025-2026 salary schedules. Do I have a motion? Comment? Online comments? Okay, we have an online comment.
online comment from Jody Johnson. The whole budget process felt extra secretive this year. Please postpone. Perhaps the events around the closures and consolidations exerted too much energy and y'all are tired. It is fair to be tired. It is not fair to claim engagement was the most robust ever, etc. Most of the documents offer no meaningful information, and without being able to engage with staff, it's hard to tell what's going on. The covert focus groups, one low-quality survey, one meeting, and undisclosed interviews is very much bare minimum for so-called engagement. Please do better in these uncertain times and refocus on truly putting student needs first with a new emphasis on stakeholder engagement that is representative and not performative. Next is from Janelle Landry. Dear board members, where in this proposed budget is the accountability for enrollment declines? Just because others are dealing with enrollment declines doesn't mean we should keep staff who exacerbated these declines here. Where is the accountability on the idea factory that continually comes up with programming or rebrand ideas that lead to no change in student outcomes and continue to cause enrollment declines? Some of these communities are burdened with the same staff with no accountability for enrollment. No school should be burdened with unskilled middle management staff until they choose to retire if their skills no longer serve students. Too many cooks in the kitchen, but nobody responsible for the bad food. Right now, it looks like the adults are filling up the lifeboats when the schools are left to drown. Maybe that's not what really is going on, but not a good look so far. Thank you. Next is from Sam Smith. For the average community member, it can be very hard to understand what's going on with this budget without being able to compare it to a budget when we had larger enrollment. Is it true the central office, specifically staff who don't work for schools directly, is still larger than it was during the pandemic? It is disappointing the community meetings they had last year didn't happen with this budget. Please don't confuse burnout with apathy. When enrollment losses is stopped, When enrollment losses, it is hoped that the staff in administrative positions have begun to right-size for current enrollment. Do we need 26 directors and countless coordinators, curriculum specialists, or special project staff? If our schools don't have regular social workers and full-time nurses, how can we justify that? From a superficial understanding, it does look like some buildings will have less staff, but projected to have greater enrollment. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding, but concerns remain. That concludes the online comments.
Thank you, Mr. Gode. And there were no public cards or anything? Okay. Are there any board comments? Let me check. Oh, Ms. Paul Lewis.
Thank you. Superintendent Cole, I just want to ask for the record and on the record, could you give us just a synopsis of what the public hearing and community engagement process has been like towards preparing for the proposed budget? And then also I'm going to ask at the same time, how does the proposed budget account for the plan of having 2 staff members in some of our schools that have been realigned in those primary grades?
Sure. We work with our consultant early in the school year, and at her recommendation, we had a series of community meetings around the budget and what community, what staff wanted to be placed in the budget. So we met with students, we met with teachers, we met with parents. We had general session community meetings where we met with parents over at the PDC, and we invited the community to come out. Typically, those conversations have happened in the reverse, where we planned the budget and then met with the community. But this time around, we met with the community first and heard what they wanted to see in the budget and tried to create a budget that we believe meet the needs of the students. And part of the conversation and planning the budget was also to work with the consultant and have an a person, an outside individual come in and work, listen to, and then make recommendations to our finance team to develop the budget. So we feel we had a tremendous amount of engagement that looked a little bit different than it has in the past. That's number one. Number two, you asked about the foundational learning centers. We took some of the savings from the realignment plan and deployed those resources into those schools where we recognize, or the areas where we recognize we see the most gaps in learning. And so we wanted to make sure in North Baton Rouge, in the Glen Oaks area, at Marydale, as well as in the Mid-City area near the Capital Zone, we wanted to have those foundational learning centers with two educators in the classroom, and so we want to take those cost savings and place them there. I think I will say this, much of the comments I've heard tonight, I think there is a legal piece to this, that when we can't talk about personnel specifically in terms of where they are, their certification, whether or not they're on contract, and what it looks like from a district perspective. And so perhaps we need to educate the community around what that looks like at times. I hear a lot of off-putting comments about staff sometimes that can be hurtful, but I think there needs to be an understanding of how staff is placed, where they are, and then how they're classified within the school system. Am I saying that correctly, Mr. Shamlin? So, but to answer your immediate question, a lot of engagement. Take the cost savings from realignment, put them in the classroom to ensure we have the right types of support for our students and our schools that need them the most.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Mr. Gode.
Thank you. And thank you for all those hard work that went in preparing this budget. I do want to say that I think one of the issues that I've run into with the public on trying to understand the budget is having a good base to compare it to, because we passed this budget right now. And right now, the legislature, I guess it's just adjourned. I think they passed the teacher stipends in the budget, but that's not in our budget yet. All of these staffing things are built upon expectations of enrollment, expectations of staffing, which all change and everything else. And so I think part of the thing is we're not building on a solid base. And so, my hope would be that come after the October count, where we know enrollment at schools, we know where the staffing is, we know what the legislature has done, that we do a revised budget like in November, where we can come out and that revised budget becomes what we base the next year's budget on, not this where we know this is substantially wrong for the right reasons. I'm not complaining about this at all. These are things we can't know right now, but come November, we'll know them. And that should be the base for what the next budget is put together on. So just my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gode. Mr. Lannis.
Move.
Do I have a second? Motion by Mr. Lannis, second by Mr. Lewis. Any comments? Other comments? Madam Secretary?
Please vote. The motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item 2, school start times. Consideration of a request for the approval of revised school start and dismissal times at 6 identified school sites within the Capitol and Glen Oaks zones for the 2025-2026 school year. Let's see. Do I have any public comments? Have any cards, April? Okay. Let me check for online comments. You have a card, you speaking on this item? Okay, you can speak, just make sure you give a card to the board secretary. And let us know your name.
Arian Smith. I'm an educator at Glen Oaks High School. Me and my colleagues feel that we did not feel a part of the team of the initial change. We were asked the last day of school at our last end of the year teacher meeting, and if we're a team, you don't tell the team or the quarterback that you're changing the play on the fourth quarter at the last minute. Also, you did not consider the effects of teachers having second jobs or continuing higher education, as well as some of me and my other colleagues are participating and going to Southern University for a higher degree. Also, some of the parents feel that their children will be subjected to making sure that their younger siblings are at school since their elementary is going early while their parents are going to work and going back home. So I don't believe that starting school at 8:50 is an ideal statement. I don't believe that we should be going to get out of school at 4 o'clock in the evening when we have other obligations. And then to be told at the last minute, the last day of school in the fourth quarter, that's unrealistic and very unfair. Also, what about the students that have special needs? What about our vocational training? What about our recreational outings? How is that going to affect the bus drivers that takes us to those facilities? I don't believe that this change will be beneficial to our population just because we're in that particular area. Also, like in regards to myself, I said about what about those teachers or those educators that take care of their elderly parents, that pick them up from the doctor's office? And before my mother transitioned this last March, I would have to, after work, go right to the dialysis facility and pick her up from Divita because sometimes she was sick and have to go to the hospital or to the emergency room. Also, I don't believe that this is a good idea for our particular population at Glen Oaks High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay, Mr. Godey is checking for online. Okay, no online comments? Hold on, okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so I have board comments. Ms. Paul Lewis.
Thank you. I just entered into the queue because I know that I made the motion at the last meeting that we would take this item without recommendation to send to the full board with the opportunity to further vet the possibility of including Arlington Prep in the process or in phase one after the hard work of Mr. Howell and of Ms. Okonski and the rest of the staff, as well as conversations with Superintendent Cole. I am in agreement with the administration of the school. We had the opportunity to communicate with Ms. Forbes, who is the principal, and she would like additional time to prepare her school and her staff for that process. And so with that in mind, I have decided, of course, to support the item as it stands. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paul Lewis. Mr. Russ.
Yeah, thank you. Part of my question was going to be asking about how that went because I got your email, Ms. Powell Lewis. Thank you for filling us in on that. And I do want to say I support this and the work that's going to be done here. It's certainly, as our teacher that came and spoke from Glen Oaks, it's probably not going to be the easiest transition both for families and for staff, but I think that the benefits are going to be great to our community. And so I move to support the item.
Thank you. So I have a motion by Mr. Russ. Do I have a second? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Russ and I have a second by Ms. Paul Lewis. Do I have any comments? Okay. Madam Secretary. No, he said no. He was gonna move.
Please vote. Motion carries.
Ms. Sule, item G. Let's get it. You got your water? Okay.
Turn my mic on. Item G, consent agenda. Number 1, consent vote. The following items are to be approved as part of the consent agenda and are considered to be routine and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as an item on the regular agenda for a separate vote preceding the last item on the regular agenda. Number 2, Advertising of bids 2025-2026. Consideration of a request to authorize staff to advertise, receive, and award bids for materials, equipment, supplies, and services through June 30th, 2026 to the lowest responsible bidder/proposer meeting specifications and all state and federal requirements for quotes and formal invitations to bid. Number 3, advertising in official journal 2025-2026. Consideration of a request for their approval to select The Advocate as the official journal, newspaper advertising of the East Baton Rouge Parish School System for the fiscal year 2025-2026. Number 4, 2025-2026 property and casualty insurance program policies. Consideration of a request to authorize the administration to approve the most cost-effective property and casualty insurance program policy renewal package for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System for the 2025-2026 fiscal year and to provide for related matters. Number 5, resolution. Reject uninsured motorist coverage. Consideration of a request for approval of the attached resolution authorizing the board president and superintendent to execute and sign all documents to reject uninsured motorist coverage in connection with the East Baton Rouge Parish School System's automobile liability coverage and its self-insured retention program for 2025-2026 fiscal year. Number 6, Oversight Committee. Semi-annual financial tax plan update. Consideration of a request for the approval of the semi-annual financial tax plan update and the 2024-2025 revised budgets for propositions 1, 2, and 3. Strategic alignment, operational excellence. Number 7, professional services contracts, federal. Consideration of a request for the approval of the professional services contracts between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the following. A, Imagine Learning, LLC, in the amount of $480,000 to provide professional development to teachers and school leadership on curriculum implementation, funding source redesign. B, Amplify Education in the amount of $73,600 to provide professional development to teachers and school leaders on curriculum implementation, funding source redesign. C, English Learners Engage in the amount of $128,100 to provide professional development to teachers, school leaders, and support staff serving English language learners, funding source redesign. D, Savas Learning Company in the amount of $324,400 to provide professional development to teachers and school leaders on high-quality instructional materials, My Perspective, grades 6 through 12, funding source redesign. E, Savas Learning Company in the amount of $74,250 to provide professional development to teachers and school leaders on high-quality instructional materials, funding source redesign. F, Great Minds in the amount of $885,040 to provide professional development to teachers and school leaders on curriculum implementation of Eureka Math Squared, funding source redesign. G, National Institute for Excellence in Teaching, NIET, in the amount of $423,375 to provide professional development and coaching to school leaders on TAP principles and data tracking. Funding source redesign, General Fund, Title I, Title II. 8, resolution, canvassing returns. Consideration of a request for the adoption of a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the special election held in Consolidated School District Number 1 of the Parish of East Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, to authorize the renewal of special taxes therein. Number 9, Cooperative Endeavor Agreement, CEA, Louisiana Department of Treasury. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement, CEA, between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the Louisiana Department of Treasury and the State of Louisiana in the amount of $50,000 for Act 776 of the 2024 regular session state aid to local government entities to provide musical instruments for multiple schools. Number 10, amended job descriptions. Consideration of a request for the approval of the following amended jobs descriptions. A, driver training and safety officer. B, supervisor of transportation. Number 11, new job descriptions. Consideration of a request for the approval of the following amended job descriptions. A, attendance support specialist. B, school registrar. Number 12, contract amendment, HES. Discussion/consideration of the approval of a request from HES Facilities of a contractual increase of $960,000 based on the cost of living adjustment, COLA, of 4% to begin in the school year 2025-2026. Number 13, policy revisions, GBRC and EDD. Consideration of a request for the approval of the following policy revisions. A, GBRC, staff schedules. B, EDD, school bus scheduling and routing. Number 14, charter renewal and grade expansion, Helix Aviation Academy. Consideration of a request for the approval of an early renewal of a charter for Helix Aviation Academy and to approve an amended charter contract to authorize an expansion of grade configuration from grades 9 through 12 to grades K through 12. Number 15, grade configuration, Forest Heights Academy of Excellence. Consideration of a request for the approval to modify the Forest Heights Academy of Excellence grade configuration from K8 to K5. Number 16, RFP selection, salary schedule. Consideration of a request to accept the recommendation of the RFP selection committee to select Lean Frog to revise the East Baton Rouge Parish School System salary schedule and authorize the superintendent and staff to execute a contract and related matters in the amount of $59,500. Number 17, litigation. Consideration of a request for the approval of the recommendation from Gwen Shamlin, General Counsel, East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, in the matter of Babette DeBarius et al. Versus East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, suit number 728408, Section 21, 19th JDC, EBR Parish. End of consent agenda items. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. Board members, are there any items that you guys would like to pull? Okay, since there are no items that need to be pulled, I do have one public comment. Mr. James Finney, self would like to speak.
Thank you. I have concerns about item 14, which you have chosen not to pull. What the minutes say is what you're approving. It doesn't matter what's in the backup that may or may not be relevant. So I would suggest again that you pull it and clarify things. The HCS board has not requested a grade expansion as reflected in their minutes from the one meeting they've had in 2025. A companion board made a request to expand seats, but that doesn't relate to this agenda item because this only refers to Helix Aviation Academy. Normally, when you review a charter for renewal or extension or termination, there is a pretty thorough data review from Ms. Okonski's group or from the charter office or from an outside reviewer. I've seen none of that in your backup. And finally, it's not a good look to expand charter seats at approximately the same time you're closing publicly administered local community schools. So I would again encourage you to pull this item, rework it, defer it till July, bring it back, and say what you mean. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Finney. We do have an online comment, Mr. Gode.
Yeah, this relates to, excuse me, G15, grade configuration, Forest Heights Academy of Excellence. Forest Heights Academy of Excellence, number G15, from Jen Guidry. This is a great idea. Finally recognizing strong elementary schools doesn't necessarily yield high enrollment middle schools. Yes, revert this back to elementary school because we have too many under-enrolled choices for middle schools. Too often, leadership staff comes to this board and requests to expand various programs by misrepresenting demand without evidence the community will support the change. With enrollment losses, we just don't have enough students for every site to have a separate middle school. Now is also a great time to realign Belfair Middle and Park Medical Middle, as they are also extremely under-enrolled and a cost burden to EBR schools. The only issue is this: why wasn't this done during the realignment process with every other school? Thank you for making this tough choice.
Thank you, Mr. Gode. Mr. Lewis.
My question is for you, Mr. Shamlin, with the Helix contract. So, and I've kind of seen this before. Does the Helix item accurately address, one, name change, grade configuration, and the renewal of the charter? I mean, does it, and once we sign the contract, all that's in the contract?
That's correct. The item is written, addresses those considerations. The contract as written also addresses those considerations. Name change, expansion of grade configuration, that's taken care of in the contract. So if the board votes to approve that contract, those things will happen tonight.
Okay, because not to this degree, but I recall when I worked there, we were two schools in one building. We closed one school, and I think we closed the mass communication school and moved everybody over to Meta. And we did that for obvious reasons. And we also went from being called STEM to STEAM, which was an official name change. So all this is addressed in that contract.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I have no problem with it. I just want, for my own satisfaction, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Gode.
Thank you. And again, just for clarity, while this expands the grade configuration for that school, it does not expand the student enrollment for that school, because I just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on that. This does not authorize any additional students, just changes the grade configuration.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gode. Ms. Paul Lewis.
Thank you. I would like to address the comment on item 15. Superintendent Cole, I just want to ask, am I correct in saying that in our school realignment plan that we have already approved, that we have already changed the grade configurations for, of course, Belfair, and then also for Park Elementary?
No, we didn't change grade configurations at those schools. But I do want to say Park Medical Academy is not under-enrolled. It's bursting at the seams.
Right.
And Belfair is not.
Thank you for that correction.
Yeah, and Belfair is not under-enrolled, but we're moving it to a bigger facility so we can expand seats and opportunities for other students there as well.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you, Ms. Paul Lewis. Mr. Gode,
I so move.
any
that we-
second? Mr. Gode, motion, Mr. Lewis, second. No comments? My board secretary, can I get a vote?
Please vote. Sorry. Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along, item H, new business, student expulsion. Discussion, consideration of a request to appeal a student expulsion. Board members, have you had the opportunity to review the case? Do I have a motion to hear the matter at the next regular meeting? Hearing no motion, and the superintendent's recommendation stands. Item 2,
President Stewart, I'm sorry. On the next item, this expulsion has been resolved by the superintendent and staff, so there will be no need to hear it tonight.
okay, so I don't need to read it or anything?
Read it into the record, and we will let the matter die with no vote.
Okay. Moving along to item 2, appeal hearing, student expulsion, appeal hearing for a student. Do I have board members, have you had an opportunity to review the case? Do I have a motion to hear the matter?
Yeah, this is just simply a motion to hear the matter.
Yeah. So do I have a motion to hear the matter? Hearing no motion, and second, the superintendent's recommendation stands.
I'm going to steal a play out of my colleague's book, Mr. Lannis, and take a point of personal privilege. Yes, I am going to be brief. I just want to say to all of the gentlemen who are listening, whether you're in this room, in the lobby, in the community, at home, happy Father's Day weekend to you. Whether you have children or you do not have children, there are so many of you who serve as father figures, uncles, brothers, big brothers, mentors to many of our young men in the community. So happy Father's Day to you. All right, and yes, and fathers, but daddies, but for sure is what Mr. Lewis just said over here. So announcements of meetings. Committee of the Whole meeting to be held on July 10th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Central Office Boardroom. Regular meeting to be held on July 17th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Central Office Boardroom. And also happy Juneteenth to everybody.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Coach, we are
adjourned.